Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we're off to Neverland with Unto Others and their brand new album, Neverland. This is the third full-length studio album from this American gothic heavy metal crew hailing from Portland, Oregon to be exact, and if you're thinking, oh, Paradise Lost, Typo Negative, My Dying Bride type stuff when I say gothic heavy metal, wrong, you are sorely mistaken. When I say gothic heavy metal, I do mean gothic heavy metal. An equal blend of classic influences from The Cure and Sushi and the Banshees and Joy Division, and also classic Judas Priest and Ozzy Osbourne. Moody and melancholic and packed with atmosphere and emotion and sultry, smoky vocals? Sure, absolutely, but also big, heavy, hard-hitting riffs and big choruses and ripping guitar solos and classic metal dynamics and pyrotechnics. And the results across two other full-length studio albums, plus some demos and EPs, has been, in my opinion, consistently pretty great. In fact, by this point, despite being a relatively new band, I guess, within the grand scheme of things, it's not unfair to say that Unto Others are one of the most consistent and reliable bands out there right now today. They have yet to flop or fail. They can always be depended upon for catchy, moody, gothic, heavy metal jams. And for these reasons, coupled with some behind-the-scenes knowledge and information I got courtesy of an interview I had here on the Metal Meltdown with the band's lead singer, Gabriel Franco, check that out if you have not already, I understandably went into Neverland with reasonably high expectations, and I feel absolutely all of them have been met. In fact, not only is this a great album, but it is absolutely fair to argue that this is Unto Others' best album to date, and also maybe one of the best gothic or heavy metal records of 2024. Now, I should note right off the bat, it is maybe, possibly, hypothetically, a tad fair to criticize Neverland for not being especially surprising or challenging. If you were looking for Unto Others to throw a bunch of wicked curveballs at you and to really switch things up, they're not doing that here. You might be a little disappointed. But in Unto Others' defense, what they lack in big surprises, they more than make up for in little surprises, in all kinds of little twists and turns and bursts of flavor from across the realms of goth and metal and rock music, but also punk and pop and alternative music, which does, in my opinion, enhance Unto Others' already very strong songwriting abilities and also adds dimension to their brew of doom, gloom, and attitude. For example, you've got the opening cut, Butterfly, a dreary yet spirited mid-paced romp filled with chilled, dreamy synths and gang vocals. Then there's Cold World, which demonstrates and executes a beautiful combination of classic 80s pop, rock, and goth tones and vibes, with hand-clapped rhythms and emotive vocal wailings, a pretty strong, soulful guitar solo, and some surprisingly semi-jazzy licks and riffs here and there as well. Then you have Sunshine, which takes lush gothic metal tones and dynamics into much more positive territory, playing out more like a very upbeat kind of 80s arena rock Scorpions jam of sorts with very positive, optimistic, hopeful lyricism. Like, I hear this song and I have an image in my mind of like a group of goths driving in a Mustang convertible down the West Coast, going to the beach, gonna play some beach volleyball, go surfing or whatever. Or maybe like an elder goth, like sitting around a campfire with some friends, drinking some beer. And then, on almost the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have Flatline, which is where Unto Others' love of horror punk and hardcore is on full display. It is bitter, it is angry, it is edgy, it is blunt, it is very in your face, very pessimistic tonally, lyrically. It has an overall vibe and energy similar to that, maybe, of the Misfits, but just like way more urgent and way more brutal. And honestly, even the songs that could be considered more atypical Unto Others style stuff, guess what? They're still really good. Maybe not packed with all the same spices and flavors and dynamics of other songs that we've mentioned thus far, but still really good, still full of passionate vocals, great guitar solos, great licks, songs like the title track and closing number, Neverland, Regeki, Suicide Today. That said, my absolute favorite of the bunch is Mama Likes the Door Closed, which honestly just feels like full-on, like, gothic punk metal crossover thrash, you know? Like, it's got a lot of atmosphere, but it's also very high energy, and also very cheeky. Like, it's got plenty of tight, meaty, thrashy, groovy riffs reminiscent of classic Anthrax. It's also got some erratic, hardcore-style vocal spats and pungent, powerful, prominent, semi-funky bass licks and grooves reminiscent of, like, late 80s, early 90s suicidal tendencies. With 16 tracks, too, it is amazing how fresh this thing consistently feels, even after a couple of listens, and how well it flows, also even after a couple of listens. Like, straight up, I was blasting the promo for this a couple of days ago, playing Space Marine 2, and at a certain point, the record just kind of started repeating, and it didn't bother me at all. I was sucked into the moment. I was having a blast. I'm feeling a very strong 4 to 5, leaning heavily towards a 4.5 to 5. If it weren't for some interludes that just don't really connect to any of the material on the album, at least not especially successfully in my opinion, plus also a couple weird little samples and interjections, like at some point you can hear Navi from like Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time doing like, hey, listen, and that kind of sucked me out of the moment. If it wasn't for that, this probably would be a 4.5 to 5, but hey, who the fuck is going to argue with an extremely strong, extremely enthusiastic 4 to 5? Hopefully nobody, unless you want to be a little fucking asshole, unless you want to do a little cry and get your fifis all hurt. There's nobody else doing like traditional style heavy metal music or gothic metal to the extent that Unto Others is doing it. They've got a totally unique sound and they're killing it across this thing. If you love Unto Others, there's no reason why you wouldn't love this record. If you're looking for like kind of a gateway into gothic rock and gothic metal or traditional heavy metal, aren't really sure where to go, maybe you want to hear a mixture of these two, it's something you've envisioned, but maybe you've been upset by the more depressing, super doomy stuff from like the aforementioned Paradise Lost, Typo Negative, My Dying Bride, you still want something with energy and fun vibes, boom! Congratulations! Everybody is happy now! I will definitely be picking this up on vinyl in the very near future. I will definitely continue to pay attention to anything and everything Unto Others does at this point. Very strong 4 to 5, very enthusiastic. I think it's fucking great. I kinda love it, and I think you will too. Definitely check it out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be, contrary to popular belief. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately in case you are not already. Join us on Discord. Check out some merch on Redbubble. Boom, Unto Others interview. Boom, something else. I don't fucking know. Who gives a shit? And as always, I love you, and you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.